Now, hello guys, this is a quick explanation about today's class. It's core, the third session of 6, and we focused on slowing the inhale down, breathing a little bit into the belly, then floating the rib cage up and keeping the torso engaged, open, keeping that sensation of space and inner tone going. And you noticed it has its own intensity, and what it does is it makes you more aware of the upper body. It's we a lot of the times we collapse into our upper body, and we have a tendency of thinking that if I just arrange my shoulders, everything will be fine. And it's not the case. What we're actually doing is we're completely disengaging the upper back, the chest, and the rib cage with the upper abdominals. So this is where this particular focus, the slowing down of the inhale and then keeping with the pause that follows, takes us. It takes us into an engaged upper body. It takes us into an engaged trunk, and we're not actually doing anything from the outside to do that. What we're doing is we're constantly mindful of our breath and of the inner tone that we have in the rib cage and the trunk. And you will notice that when the rib cage goes up, everything in the trunk is like pressing it's like pressing a button to get engaged. So you don't have to do anything. You don't have to think about, oh, I have to tone my core, I have to get the sides engaged, I have to engage the upper back. You're floating the rib cage up, you're keeping the breastbone down. That's something you have to be mindful of, because we have a tendency of problem. But the rest of the upper back automatically activates. The shoulder blades drop onto the rib cage and they get engaged. The chest gets engaged. The intercostal muscles get engaged. Upper abdominals, obliques, because the space you have between the hip bones and the rib cage is a little bit longer. It's going to need a little bit more stabilizing, so the obliques will kick in without you even trying. So it's a small thing, but this small thing will have an impact everywhere in the upper part of the body. Of course, we need to allow the tone to engage the body. So we mustn't let the body, just flop around the hands and the arms. There needs to be tone that meets the tone that's coming from the core. Otherwise, it's like a roadblock. The core wants to spread its power, to radiate its power into the body, and the body is just closing the channels. So we need to keep the channels open, we need to keep the muscles active, we need to keep the joints open, and we must allow that energy, that power to radiate and to literally, it's like electricity. Don't break the circuit. Let the circuit run the energy, and when energy runs through the circuit, guess what? It produces even more energy. So I don't think there was a point in this class where you ran out of energy. It might have been intense. It might have been a bit of a shake. We were shaking together at some point, but you never ran out of energy, because you constantly kept the body engaged and you kept your powerhouse, your core, active and radiating. So that was the secret, in case you were wondering. Now, of course, we did that in all types of postures. We started in the centering. We really focus on slowing down the breath and breathing your center of gravity. And in that center of gravity, coming to the energetic center at the end of the exhale. So we centered that expansion. And this is something that I brought into the meditation at the end as well. So you are expanding, but you're expanding from the center. You're expanding from a grounded place. You're not expanding from nowhere. It's got its foundations. So you can trust that expansion. You can fully go in it. You can let it do its magic because you are in a grounded place. We started and we ended with that. Breath work and meditation, the centering had its awareness raising element, and the meditation at the end brought it home into a more energetic feel. So you were literally feeling yourselves breathing your body. It's when you can feel that openness irradiate throughout the body. It's not just the rib cage that opens. It's at some point we literally have the sensation that there's the whole inner space that opens, the inner space of the feet, the ankles, everything. And again, it's something personal. Everybody experiences in its own way, but it's a beautiful feeling. Then, of course, in the sun salutations, you noticed that we were moving with our breaths, and we were moving to go into the root and the rise. So the core was engaged in the lines of force. It was connecting the lines of force, the legs and the arms, throughout the sun salutations, and then our standing posture. So the core was always joining the two halves of the body. So we come together into one. The legs were powered up from the thighs into the pelvic floor, into the core. So was pelvic floor into the core. The upper body, the upper abdominals, the obliques, the transversals as well, right in the middle of your belly. They were coming together. So whatever it was that we were doing, we were never moving outside our center. We were never moving in a disengaged way from our lines of force. That's again, that's the power of the root and rise, bringing power to the root and rise. If we don't do that, it's only going to be an isolated part of the body. So we're bringing the body from unity into division. We need to keep it moving together. Even if we're focusing on the core, we're not isolating the core. We're letting the core power the body as a unity. I think you noticed the freedom of space it gave you. I think you noticed how much you were attuned to your body, how intensely you were feeling it, but at the same time, not once did you have the feeling that this is too much. I need to stop. No, it just kept going. We kept going, but we did give ourselves slowing down moments. So when I felt that the intensity was getting too high, we were on an upward trend. I said, no, we need to connect again to the breath, slow it down, soften it, and then get back right up that wave. So it's again riding those energy waves, and we mustn't let them defeat us. So don't go into a place where the body just goes, this is too much, I have to stop. Keep breathing back down a little bit, But remember, backing down is only going into more space. So you're going into a previous point where you had more space. It means that right now you're locking into whatever posture you are. You back down a little, you gain more space, and there you get engaged again. So that's the rationale behind it. Slowing down, but making it more intense. And that's one of the practices with the core. We need to give ourselves the time to soften into its intensity and power. But that's going to be essential. It's what keeps the core energy moving. So thank you guys again for a great class. Hope you enjoyed it. I will see you again next week. Bye bye.